my name is Shauna, and today is my first day of school. I can't wait until it starts. I'm so happy and excited.
My name is Samantha Bentz. I'm 24 years old, and I am a travel agent specializing in nonprofit organizations. Over the past year, I've lost 132 pounds, starting at 337 pounds at my heaviest weight, currently weighing 205 in 13 months. Growing up, eating was never an issue. Food was always readily available, it was expected, it was pushed. Growing up with parents who preferred buffets and then being told consistently that you have to eat your money's worth in order to make it count. When you grow up with those expectations, it makes it easier to eat and overeat and not understand when to stop. So you learn to ignore the cues from your body that tell you to stop eating. What didn't help was I hit my height of 5'6" at age 10, so being naturally large was also a contributing factor. Mental health wise, in middle school and in high school, everybody's miserable all of the time. When society puts forth like a certain image and you don't fit that image, that's really difficult to overcome regardless. Being this person who had all of this extra body mass, it takes a toll on who you are. You grow up with those insecurities kind of ingrained. The problem with that is that a coping mechanism is eating. So you're upset because you eat, and then you eat because you're upset, and it's just a vicious cycle. In high school, I essentially had no self-esteem, no self-respect, no sense of self-worth, and I was probably teetering on 250 pounds for most of the latter half of high school. So all of that was happening, and I still was 80 pounds shy of what would eventually be my heaviest weight. I had tried other weight loss methods. I tried dieting several times. I tried cutting out caffeine, cutting out sugar, cutting out all of these things. The most I ever lost at one point was 40 pounds, gained half of it back within a couple of months, and never really got over the yo-yo. The procedure I had was a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, also known as the gastric sleeve or just the sleeve. It is a process in which the surgeon makes an incision and removes 3/4 of your natural stomach, leaving you with a pouch that's roughly the size of a banana. It holds about 4 to 6 ounces of food at any given time, so you really have to watch how you intake your meals. The procedure takes approximately 2 to 3 hours, and then you're in the hospital overnight and typically get discharged the next day. The ultimate decision that led me to having the vertical sleeve gastrectomy was a variety of health issues that, in conjunction with morbid obesity, really wasn't going to benefit me in life. I had been diagnosed with chronic migraines when I was 10, so going on over a decade of that. I was on daily medications for migraines, in addition to having hormonal imbalances, acid reflux, and other hernia-related gastro problems. All of these things I was told and had researched would be fixed with the surgery and then the accompanying weight loss, if not the surgery itself. I asked my primary care physician if she thought it was a good idea. She agreed that it was a good step going forward because I had all of these separate health issues that would have been solved by not only the actual operation, but the process that followed. Every doctor I saw, nobody tried to sway me out of it. Nobody thought that I was making a poor decision. People did question that because I had it when I was so young, that it would be something that I would have trouble maintaining or could come to regret later. So far that hasn't been the case. People were generally supportive of my decision to have the surgery. The first and foremost reaction I got was, why would you choose to have an invasive operation when there are more natural ways of accomplishing the task? But a lot of the people who say that don't realize that it's a process to even make this decision. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and decided, I'm tired of being this weight, I'm just going to go and have surgery to fix it. It's not liposuction. It's a legitimate change in your lifestyle. Clearly, diet and exercise doesn't work for everyone. Some people are just naturally, they have slower metabolisms, they have, different bone structures. It's how it goes. So a lot of people were more judgmental in the sense that they thought I was taking the easier way out. And even now, when people hear about the weight loss, they congratulate me, and then the typical question that follows is, how did you do it? And when I explain that this is the procedure I had and this is, what occurred because of that, the usual reaction is, oh, great, because there's less merit in the method that I chose. But I don't think that affects the result at all. Either way, I'm healthier and I'm happier, and if I took a different way of getting there than people think is socially acceptable, then that's fine by me. You drop a lot very quickly. Within the first 2 weeks after surgery, I think I was down 50 pounds. And then within 6 months, 80. And then within a year, over 100. And now 13 months out, the total weight loss is 130. It's a long process to get back to eating everything you ate prior to the surgery, but eventually you get there. The only thing they suggest is you don't go crazy with sugar. Other interesting quirks is that you can no longer eat and drink in the same meal, or shouldn't. They recommend you don't drink out of a straw because the air intake can cause discomfort in your stomach if there's already things in there. So there's just different things that were interesting to adjust to throughout the process. So when I go out to eat, usually meals consist primarily of protein. So I try to pick things that have meat in them. Usually I will order either off the kids menu or an appetizer, or if I do eat an entire entree, I never finish the whole thing. There's always leftovers. So if I'm ordering something, it's going to be a multiple day situation, 2 or 3 days out of one meal. One of the most interesting alterations to my current daily living is I can walk up a flight of stairs without getting winded. I play volleyball 4 times a week. I can run to get a ball. If I were to dive for a ball before, it would be like a process. Like 2 plays later, I'd still be like, all right, give me a second, I'm coming. But in this case, if I end up on the ground, I'm back up quickly enough that I can continue playing. The other health issues are really no longer much of a concern. I went from having migraines sometimes as often as 2 to 3 times a week for over a decade to getting 1 a month, maybe. Stopped taking the daily medications that I needed to maintain the migraines because it was no longer a concern. So I went from 6 pills to 0 pills. Same thing with after the surgery, my hormones balanced. When I had the operation, they also fixed the hernia I had. So the acid reflux, the GERD, the other weird gastro thingies that usually you don't get until you're like 40, that I had at 20, are no longer a concern. Having migraines and things like that would affect how I lived my life. So the fact that I'm no longer on prescriptions and I'm no longer feeling like a bump on a log 5 out of 7 days a week, it's a pretty good feeling. Really the only long-term condition that could be an issue is just regain. Eventually my stomach, even though it's smaller, can stretch. It will never be its normal size again, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't double in size necessarily. Really the only problem was like, okay, well, you're doing this and this is going to be your life for the rest of your life. Make sure that you maintain it. Bariatric surgery is not for everyone. It's a commitment. It is a life-altering decision. It's not a quick fix. It's not a tummy tuck. It is something for people who have struggled with this for a long time and are willing to make a change that will affect their health and wellness for the rest of their life. For the people who think that it's a magical cure, it's not. Is it something that I suggest people think of lightly? Absolutely not. And for the people who think that people who get weight loss surgery are taking the easy way out, that's not the case either. I think that if it's something that's going to keep you healthy and it's something that's going to make you happy and you believe in your ability to maintain the lifestyle, then it's absolutely an option. Outward confidence has never been an issue. Definitely in high school and college, it was more of a front. I did a lot of theater. I never had an issue with being in front of people and talking, and public speaking has never been a problem. I have a belief in myself, but it was more of on like a mental level where I knew that I could compete with other people intellectually. I was witty. I am witty. I can put forth that interpersonal connection. Throughout college, there were peaks and valleys in whether or not I actually believed that about myself. And then I really started to understand who I was as a person, and the confidence just naturally follows, and then it becomes 100% more genuine. And that really hit its peak even before the operation. So my happiness with my post-op lifestyle has very little to do with the change I see in my body, and 100% more to do with the change I see in myself.